I mean, look, this is just coming back to where this conversation started after the press conference. I hear what Sanjay is saying about Tony Fauci giving, a little bit more wiggle room than others. But if you look at the big picture, this was remarkable from the President of the United States. This is a nonpartisan. This is an important thing to note and to applaud from an American standpoint, from a human standpoint. He is being the kind of leader that people need, at least in tone, today and yesterday, in tone that people need and want and yearn for in times of crisis and uncertainty.
I'm just as speechless as you are, folks. The CNN, the Clown News Network, is actually praising the leadership of Donald Trump in a rare moment of honesty. The most untrusted name in news admits what's actually happening in our nation. President Trump has emerged as a leader like no other, who's overseeing nothing short of a massive paradigm shift in the future of disease control and prevention. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at precisely why CNN and even ultra-liberal governors are praising President Trump's response and how it all really does signal a bold new precedent in the future of disease control. I think you're going to absolutely love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you as always. A super happy, albeit quarantined Wednesday to each and every one of you. A warm welcome, especially to all of our new viewers. We post 2 videos a day, analyzing current events in light of some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do, right? Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you here as a regular part of this channel, where every day we get to celebrate together the inevitable, the inexorable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we get into the reasons for the astonishing, I don't know if I believe my eyes, for the astonishing admission of CNN that Trump is the leader our nation is craving for. Make sure to download your free gift, which we put together just for you. We're calling it our Fake News Antidote. It's a compilation of over 20 sites that I go to for my news each and every day. And you can download it completely free at the link down below in the pinned comment section. I think you're really going to love this resource for your daily diet of information that you take in. And finally, I don't know if you knew that the average funeral costs can actually be between $8,000 and $9,000. It's pretty astonishing. Having no insurance when you die can leave your loved ones with a huge bill to deal with, and obviously no one wants that. But you can actually take control of your family's destiny today and have the satisfaction that they'll be financially taken care of. So make sure to click on the link below and visit our good friends over at ratefamily.com and get a free quote. And the best part is that even if you've been turned down before, they actually guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter the situation. You heard that right. So don't wait. Click on that link below and visit ratefamily.com or simply give them a call at 1-855-919-RATE. Tell them Dr. Steve sent you. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's dive right in here. Again, amazing. But I think Fox News' Sean Hannity said it best. Really, this is Trump's hour. We are witnessing what is nothing short of a massive paradigm shift in the future of disease control and prevention. President Trump is actively setting a bold new precedent. I think Hannity is right when he asserts that we're witnessing history in the making in terms of the way the Trump administration has organized both the public sector and the private sector to work together like never before to battle a virus across all 50 states. President Trump, in really just the last week, has launched a series of federal actions to combat the spread of COVID-19, the coronavirus. Trump was actually rather smart in this. He waited for the WHO, the World Health Organization, to declare the coronavirus a global pandemic before he launched this initiative. And the point there being that he wanted to avoid overreacting and unnecessarily spooking the markets and things like that. But once the coronavirus was declared a global pandemic, James Herson over at Newsmax notes that Trump immediately launched a threefold attack against the virus. First and foremost, Trump uh, immediately declared a national state of emergency. And what that did is it unlocked tens of billions of dollars, about 50 billion, I think $48 billion, to states and local governments to use at their discretion in combating the virus. Secondly, he unveiled an innovative plan that brought together at the federal level the private sector and the public sector really like never before in terms of tackling a pandemic. What he did is he galvanized some of the nation's largest companies to work side by side with federal and state governments and authorities to get testing and supplies to citizens and results as fast and as easy as possible. In order to allow that speedy production of the coronavirus tests, the Trump administration did what it does best. What they did is and I guess this should be the third thing that he did, these slash regulations and cut the red tape impeding the process and enlisting companies with private labs to effectuate the tests. And so he negotiated deals with companies like Target and Walmart to contribute parking lot space for drive-through testing facilities to get it done immediately. He worked with Google in hosting a website that will enable individuals to determine whether or not a test would be needed, and if so, where is the nearest facility for that person. And he then coordinated at a national level Thermo Fisher, LabCorp, Quest Diagnostics to bring about the fastest turnaround time for lab results. And so this partnership between public and private sector is really turning out to be Trump's forte, his tour de force, no question. And he's acting in many ways like a wartime president right now. I think it was Dick Morris who pointed out that Trump is now coming across as officially the nation's, chief executive, as it were, a competent manager over national affairs made up of a highly effective, coordinated partnership between private enterprise and government enforcement. He is the CEO of CEOs at this point, and he's effectively created a sense that the nation is united, with the virus testing in Walmart parking lots and with the FDA providing fast-track approvals for testing technologies and the like. And believe it or not, he's even working cooperatively with Nancy the Ripper Pelosi. He may even shake her hand at one point. They both agreed on a package of economic and financial relief that includes waiving interest on student loan debt, providing paid medical leave to victims, short-term loans to affected small businesses, expanded nutrition programs, and a whole host of other efforts to curb the negative effects of the virus. You'll notice, too, what's so interesting in all of this, and again, this is, I owe this to Dick Morris here who pointed this out. You'll notice that Trump has stopped picking fights with people. That's very, very interesting. He's using his Twitter account now more as a public announcement forum for hourly updates on what the government is doing in conjunction with private enterprise to organize a full-blown attempt at halting the spread of the virus. And it should be noted, too, that he's working arm in arm with Vice President Mike Pence, who has a central leadership position, a central leadership role in these coordinating efforts. And again, just to give you a sense, really, of the overall strategy that the Trump administration is employing here, what they're doing here is they're ordering, and this was just on the whitehouse.gov website, they're putting into effect a 2 to 4 week quarantine, voluntary quarantine, involving the closing of schools, the canceling of any all events that involve 10 or more people. So mostly voluntary, I guess I should say. In order to effect what epidemiologists call Farr's Law, okay, that's spelled F-A-R-R, okay, Farr's Law. Farr's Law states that epidemics tend to rise and fall in a roughly symmetrical pattern or bell-shaped curve. Okay, so we saw this with AIDS, we saw this with SARS, we saw this with the Ebola outbreak. And so there's a rising period where the number of cases, of course, rise. And then what they do is they peak and then they begin coming down. So we saw this certainly with China. The Canadian epidemiologist who spearheaded the World Health Organization's coronavirus mission to China points out that as of now, they are, I guess it's fewer than 200 cases are being reported daily, but that's down from the height of 4,000 daily. So that would be this bell curve, right? The cases rise over a period of time, they peak, and then they begin to subside. They go into remission. So what the Trump administration is actively attempting to do here with this national quarantine, for lack of a better term, is they're trying to blunt the rise of the case rising exponentially so that the bell curve of the initial cases goes only up a portion of what it would otherwise have gone up, given the precedent that we saw in China, Japan, and Korea, and Italy. So we effectively blunt the rise. Instead of this, you get this, right? You get a little, molehill, as it were, not the big mound. And so the smaller the rise, then the quicker the remission process, and the sooner life returns to normal relatively quickly. So that's what all these measures are attempting to do. They're taking the bell curve that we've seen in China and Korea, Japan, and Italy and the like, assuming that to be normative, or in the case of Italy, sort of a worst case scenario. And then in accordance with Farr's law, which states that epidemics rise and fall in roughly symmetrical and predictable patterns, in accordance with that Farr's law, the Trump administration is attempting to shrink the curve. Instead of this, they want this. And in the process, they're pumping lots of money into the market and the economy so as to blunt the economic volatility during that 2 to 4, perhaps 6 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of economic volatility. Right? No one can do anything about that. But Trump is reassuring investors that the federal government will pump cash into the economy and into the market so as to relieve the worst of the market jitters, as it were. So I'm sure, no market advice here. I can't give it, but some great bargains to be bought right now. As Newsmax insists, Trump is giving guaranteed paid sick leaves for employees. He's also setting tax credits for small business owners. There's no cost coronavirus testing that they're implementing, enhanced unemployment insurance, and also the Trump administration is providing additional Medicaid payments in the event of a rise in hospital payments. So after the House passed the latest stimulus bill, Trump tweeted out here, people really pulled together in all this. Nice to see, right? So again, this is what he's doing now with his hourly tweets. He's giving these attaboys, and this is Trump at his best. He's just patting everybody on the back, saying, nice job, good work, we're all in this together. So Trump is really coming across, in many respects, as a wartime president. His Twitter's turned into a public announcement forum with hourly updates. And he's brought together a public and private sector, coordinating with each other to make tests widely available with the fastest turnaround time for results possible. He's unlocked billions and billions of dollars for state governments to use as they see fit. And as a result, if you can believe it, even the most diehard anti-Trump forces are coming out and saying the guy's doing an amazing job. You have the ultra-liberal governors in California and New York praising Trump and his administration's response to the needs of the particular state. You have MSNBC. Joe Scarborough is praising Trump right now. And to cap it all off, you have CNN, the clown news network, actually admitting that this is indeed President Trump's hour. What do you know? CNN can now be trusted. Now, before you go, you definitely want to check out my latest video on how the ultra-liberals of late-night television have been temporarily canceled as a result of the virus outbreak. Talk about a blessing in disguise. It's going to make your day. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.